Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome all of you back to another Rage video, where tonight, ladies and gentlemen, now, I'm going to leave you guys with a little bit of information just before we get into this, because this is the sort of video I've actually been wanting to sort of like make on my own for a while. The only issue is that every now and then I've got to basically seek out information. I want to find out sources about how other people go about making these sort of videos. I've written up scripts for like different projects before, and some of them you'll be able to see come the turn of next year. Good luck, so great luck for all that. But the thing I really kind of like also wanted to really figure out is something like, I as someone who is a great reader of George Orwell, he was all, and I'm sorry if I'm getting into a little bit off topic here, but George Orwell was always someone who wanted to uncover a disguised truth, something that there was undeniably wrong with the way the world is, and how there should be something that should be brought to the light. And you could see this all throughout his work. In stuff in Burmese Days, it reveals the tyrannicalness of the British Empire and how it was colonializing and basically profiteering off the Burmese and the Indians. There's stuff in 1984 where it uncovers that people take power purely for its own sake so they can use it to dominate. They protect the revolution to sustain, I think it's sustain or to support the dictatorship. And even in The Road to Wigan Pier, they talk about the ugliness of industrialism and what it's done to certain parts of the country, like in Leeds, Sheffield and Yorkshire. But one of the biggest things I suppose you could say has come about during the turn of the 21st century is how media has suddenly taken over, and almost every single thing from the opinion about the colour of a dress to a YouTuber who goes about giving makeup tips is suddenly under the magnifying glass, or even under the microscope, under every single person out there. You guys probably know who I'm talking about. Now, the topic we're going to talk about today is why the X Factor is totally fake, the story of one Zoe Alexander. Now, I do remember about Zoe Alexander, because I think I was about either 12 or 13 years old when when I saw Zoe on. She was a woman from, I believe, either Cardiff or Swansea in Wales, and she was very, very aggressive, but you could see that's because of incredibly emotional she was. And it's got to be said that there's certainly a discussion to be said about the undeniable side effects, as well as some people cannot cope with the pressure of reality TV because of certain real life situations and the certain people that they choose to make into stars. I'm pretty sure maybe in about 10 or even 20 years time there's going to be a whole bunch of series of like documentaries or even investigations as to what shows like whether or not Big Brother or even X Factor itself is going to be responsible for a lot of discussions in the future about the standards of healthcare and duty of care that they will have. I mean, I've done videos before about how the Jeremy Kyle show came to an end and the controversies that ran throughout the show's history. The biggest one I can remember off the top of my head concerning X Factor is apparently one contestant called Wagner, I think, was apparently a drug dealer, I believe. I'm not entirely sure if that story is 100% true. And there was also the story of Ablisa. Now, as to whether or not that story was a hoax, that entire performance was a hoax or not, I'm not entirely sure. The Zoe Alexander one is something I understand a little bit less about, because there are plenty of other people I can remember who have been on the show who I think were just doing it who were just paid by ITV just so that the viewership would go up. One example I remember is the infamous Britney Spears impersonator who went on stage in a full-body fishnet wearing only a green bra and panties. There's many examples, ladies and gentlemen, about this, and I'm pretty sure all of them would be worth discussing of their own. But right now, I want to talk about what Grundy, I think that the channel is called. Let me just do a very quick check. I don't want to get this wrong. Lombardi. Okay, let's do it. And I saw the first frame, and it was the Welsh chicken farmer, and that has its own problems as well. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, and let's get into this, because there's going to be a lot of things to talk about, and probably the reasons why I want to talk about this in more detail as well. I would have gone to like Luke. In fact, that's a good point. I'll do Luke Alexander's video on the TikTok show as well, because I've heard not particularly great things about it. So I'll look into that when the time comes. So if you guys want to check out the original video for yourselves, links on the description down below. It is by Lombardi. So let us begin. Why the X Factor is totally fake. The story of Zoe Alexander. In 3, 2, 1, and...
Robert, I can honestly say you are the worst singer I've ever heard in my life. Thank you.
Were you trying
to... thank you. You are absolutely useless.
Everything I wouldn't want. Lazy, deluded, very little talent.
You told me to sing a Pink song. I didn't want to sing a Pink song. You guys told me to sing a Pink song.
To sing a Pink song.
What a pile of sh**.
No doubt you look so fine. Whoa, girl, I wanna make you mine.
Yeah, come on.
Just let me be with the woman that I love.
A woman that I love.
I mean, it's more like Anton Deaf.
As a child, there was no better feeling than sitting down on a Saturday night, popcorn in hand, ready to watch Simon Cowell rip into a deluded contestant who thought they were sick.
Everything I wouldn't want. Lazy, deluded, very little talent.
For most, it was common knowledge that the show and its producers would often exaggerate certain moments for the sake of entertainment. Yeah. One doesn't need a 189 IQ to know that. However, if you dig a little deeper into the X Factor and look into how the show works and operates, you will know why this show should literally cease to exist. There have been countless ex-contestants coming out with videos outlining their negative experiences with the show, including not only allegations of poor treatment, but also dodgy editing and just manipulation. The most notable example of a contestant who has come out with such allegations is Zoe Alexander. You may not recognise her from this clip, but I'm sure if I show her audition from the 2012 version of the X Factor, you might become a bit more familiar with her.
Just the first thing I want to say is that dodgy editing is it's a big thing that's always been like an issue in terms of like reality TV. Like just to name one example, the Kitchen Nightmares USA. Every single frame where it doesn't have people pulling faces, it's sound effects basically all the way. And because if you compare that to the UK version, there are no sound effects whatsoever. And I know to some, because I have this suspicion that what X Factor was, the more I'm beginning to think about it, they were trying to almost Americanize British TV. And one thing about that is because American Idol, the formula worked over there, so why not bring that to the UK? The problem with that, ladies and gentlemen, is for the same reason why... Well, if you watch Kitchen Nightmares, the UK version, you'll see that it's about restaurants that are not... It's not about the shock factor. It's... Well, some parts are about the shock factor. Because in the US, you come across kitchens that are absolutely filthy from inside. You see mold, disease. You see just about everything you could possibly see. And you might say that possibly the reason why that show in particular took off so much is because well, Gordon Ramsay was still very, very popular, and he was coming out with show after show after show at this point. And it was just watching Gordon Ramsay go around restaurants, criticizing, coming up with colourful insults, and then it was a very formulaic principle. And you may say that the producers did that because it was a system that worked, and it was something that, you know, more people came back to, and it ran its course. And the only the reason why it stopped, well, to give you just guys another example, Hell's Kitchen, which is more competition based, and that one also has dodgy editing. But the difference is that I'd say Ramsay has been a little bit more smarter, and like producers like Arthur Smith, who I know works for Ramsay, they handle things a bit more professionally because they know it shouldn't be really about the drama, but it more or less kind of is the drama. That's why, because I watched season 15 back in 2016. That was the season that I just completely turned off the show. Season 16 was worse because they were trying to like really force it down our throats for some people to be despised, and I do question some of the things that people said. Whether or not they said them because the show told them to, or whether or not it was their own volition, would be a very good question, especially when some of the male contestants were chauvinistic, and when some of the female contestants were trying to sabotage just about anything they could see. And meanwhile, ladies and gentlemen, there is one more thing I just want to say just before we get back into this very quickly. I'd say almost MasterChef USA has that sort of same problem. Like, well, I'm going to get back into this because I feel as if like the show is intending it for it to go this way. Ablisa might be another case point about this. I could be wrong, but we'll find out.
Zoe Alexander was seen on the show stating how she used to be a Pink tribute act, and then she sung Pink on the show. When the judges told her that she should come back in the future and work on her act, etc., Zoe is seen having a temper tantrum, swearing at the judges, throwing down the mic, and even pushing that metal thing that holds things up, I don't know. This is undoubtedly one of the X Factor's most famous auditions, the YouTube video of her audition gaining over 90 million views, as well as the average 9 million viewers that tune into the show every week, or they did so in 2012. To most, she was just another example of a deluded, stroppy contestant who got a much needed reality check. In reality, she was a vulnerable contestant who was allegedly manipulated by the show, all for the sake of the entertainment of the millions watching. 5 months ago, 8 years after the episode aired, Zoe came out with 2 videos explaining her side of the story. And when you watch these videos, so much...
I feel like I'm gonna take a little detour and go into that video right there, because I want to know exactly what Zoe has to say, because I'm very interested to find out, because, well... Because I don't want to bring, you know, Gary Barlow into this too much, the Tory scumbag, but I'm going to assume that he did this so he could have more money in his bank account not to actually pay off taxes. Take that, Gary Barlow. Take that.
Makes sense. Here's a point of particular interest. In the original audition, Zoe was heard saying, "You told me to sing a Pink song. I never wanted to sing a Pink song."
You told me to sing a Pink song. I didn't want to sing a Pink song. You guys told me to sing a Pink song.
To the viewers, this was again probably brushed off as a spoilt contestant making excuses for a poor performance. In reality, Zoe was possibly a bit more truthful than one would first think. Yes, allegedly, the X Factor pushed Zoe to sing a Pink song despite the fact that she clearly didn't want to. It was even allegedly suggested to her that if she didn't sing a Pink song, she might not even get on the show.
They wanted me to sing a Pink song. I wasn't instantly convinced, but he basically said that if I didn't, I wouldn't be going on the show. But he made it sound...
Congratulations on making the shortlist to potentially see the judges for X Factor Series 9. Date Friday 15th June 2012, 9 minutes to 4 in the afternoon. Subject X Factor, some info. We'll be in touch soon to confirm you have an audition. Music. You need to prepare 5 songs for the audition. Solo, singer, or group. We want to encourage you to choose a wide and varied selection of songs that best showcase you, your voice, and what kind of pop star you would like to be. I think... You know what, ladies and gentlemen? I know this is like a very off-topic sort of thing, but why exactly can't there be a rock version of the X Factor? Why can't there be a metal version of the X Factor? I'll tell you why. Because I don't think anyone from the rock or metal community would want their hands anywhere near this. I'm pretty sure... Well, it's not as if, like, well, actually, that's a good question. Do rock musicians and metal groups want to actually have this opportunity? I mean, it would be a great idea. I think it would be a better idea than I first thought. But the thing I think would stir a lot of people away is that if it's reality TV and if it's going to be like the X Factor, then again, it would be tailored towards more specific people. And possibly, if it was going to be, you know, a competition, they'd probably have to show it like later at night, maybe on the point of the watershed. Because supposing a group wanted to come on and do like Alice Cooper or maybe Marilyn Manson. Well, actually, to be honest, I think Alice Cooper would be fine, but supposing somebody wanted to try and do something a bit harder, like Pantera, for example, or even Testament. Remember, this audition is your chance to stand out from the... Remember, this audition is your chance to stand out from the crowd. Pick songs that define you as a singer. Your 5 song choices are your decision. It's fine to sing what you've sung before if that's what you like to do. But please also think of some fresh, interesting and different song choices. Think of songs that may surprise the judges. Remember a contemporary, up-to-date hit or even a different version of a well-known song. Remember, you will be singing in front of a large audience. Okay, so 5 songs are your choice. They didn't say anything about them having to be Pink songs. They had said them that had to be... Think of songs, maybe a contemporary up-to-date version. So they want something, you know, modern.
Pretty good. Like, he bolstered it up and said that I was used to singing Pink songs. I was good at singing Pink songs. They'd love it if I sang a Pink song. It'd go down so well if I sang a Pink song. And... so I agreed.
So what happens when Zoe then goes on the show and sings a Pink song like they suggested? Do the judges love it and Zoe Alexander gets 4 yeses, wins the show and becomes famous? No, the judges sit there, look like it's pretty shit during the audition, and then slate her for singing a Pink song.
Yeah, Zoe, I'm confused with the identity issue. You know, coming out saying you wanted an identity, then you sing Pink.
Yes, you got the chance to sing a second song, but Zoe says...
But what's fucking wrong with Pink? I mean, I like Pink, but that was over 10 years ago. But what's wrong with Pink? I'm not saying that, you know, she's my first choice, but what's wrong with her?
They played this song in the wrong key, which, you know, is just typical X Factor.
The next song, the monitors went back off again. And the track that they played was not the track that I had sent him. It was in a different key and it was a different track to the track I had sent. And they turned the monitors off, so I couldn't hear a thing.
Why they did this is anyone's guess, but I would think it was to make her audition even more embarrassing and to make her look even more deluded than she already was, again, for the sake of entertainment. Zoe also alleges that certain parts of her audition were actually edited. For example, when she pushes that metal thing and when she throws the mic, Zoe literally says that these things never happened or they didn't happen in the way that she remembers them happening.
Then I realised that they turned the microphone off, and that was when I threw it to the floor, and I threw it like this to the floor, but somehow in the video I threw it like that, and I didn't. I threw it to the floor because I was just disgusted and I wanted to get it out of my hand.
This culmination of events, paired with the fact that she'd been worn out by the show, quite frankly, eventually led Zoe to break down.
I was saying, please stop filming me, please stop filming me. And at that moment, I wanted to die, and I said, I'm going to kill myself. And I said that over and over, I'm going to kill myself, please get this camera out of my face, I'm going to kill myself.
I don't want you to get confused and believe that Zoe is the only one who has been treated in this manner. Countless other contestants have come out outlining similar experiences. Maybe some not to this scale, but they're still important nonetheless. Trevi Moran came out with a video in 2016 talking about the American X Factor, and she provides yet more proof that to the show, everything is about entertainment. At 12 years old, Trevi collapsed due to dehydration or an allergic reaction, and as she lay on the ground, the producers did this.
The producers, bitch, I will never forget this. Oh my God. As they're pointing the camera at us, they tell my mom and they say, hey, Nicole, can you look at him, like directly look down and look a little bit more concerned. And that's when she realized, she's like, are you kidding me? My son's having a 5-hour panic attack on the floor.
As well as this, the show again dictated in a way which song was sung, which just again further supports the proof that everything is just staged on this show.
All right, Trevor, so we have your audition song. Bitch, what?
Really?
Huh? You're choosing my audition song? I thought I get to choose my own. And they're like, oh yeah, I mean, you can choose your own, but we're gonna have you sing this too. So I'm like, okay. And they go, we want you to sing Sexy and I Know It by LMFAO. And we want you to be
Fuck off. Like, really? You would give him that song? Are you kidding me? I'm wow. Oh, fuck me. Listen, guys. There's a difference between being popular and being good. I'm pretty sure. I'm not gonna waste my time by explaining exactly the difference. But anybody who knows that song knows that. I mean, I'm gonna just give you one quick example. California Girls. That song came out in 2010. It has almost never left my sight since. That song's going to follow me to my grave, and they still won't be able to spell girls right. And I don't even think that's a good song, to be honest. I just think that it was popular because of the video, because Katy Perry was basically basically naked, lying on a cloud, and they had Snoop Dogg involved. And also, they were having Katy Perry shoot, squirty cream out of her nipples. I'm sorry, but no.
We see on YouTube, the Apple Store dancing kid, who has no fears and just, go crazy on stage.
But now I want to move on to the funny auditions, those auditions that have gone down as absolute classics, or as I like to call them, bullying people with special needs. Some contestants on the show evidently have special needs, but do the X Factor care? No, of course they don't.
No.
They just want a good show. So let's make Simon say really mean stuff to them and have the judges burst out laughing in the middle of all of them singing. Again, in the name of comedy. The earliest example I can think of is a man called Robert Unwin, who was a contestant during the early years of the show. Just watch this and tell me that it doesn't make you feel angry and plainly sorry for the man singing.
No, I've lost where I am. I can't. I just do the chorus. Oh, right, so we're missing the echo. Robert, I can honestly say you are the worst singer I've ever heard in my life. Thank you.
Were you trying
to... Thank you. You are absolutely useless.
Oh, bless him.
Oh, bless him. Bless the man you just laughed at during his whole audition and who Simon literally said was the worst singer he'd ever heard in his life.
Also, I don't want to be rude to Sharon or anything, and listen, I love Ozzy as much as anyone else, but wasn't Ozzy going through detox therapy at this point? I generally don't know, and I'm not gonna. I know. Come on, just really.
To me, the issue is evident. The X Factor will use anyone and any methods necessary in order to put on a good, funny show. They will manipulate the edits to make a contestant appear different to how they are, they will mislead auditionees even before the judges' auditions have taken place, and they will take advantage of and plainly mock contestants who may genuinely think they have a shot of being huge, partly because the show has led them to believe that throughout the audition process. It doesn't take a genius to see beyond the cracks. These are real people, and many of their lives have possibly been destroyed because of how they were portrayed on the show. Whilst the X Factor may not have aired this year, it will undoubtedly return with yet more of this manipulation, in which millions of viewers will probably continue to buy into. I'm sure this isn't just X Factor, however. This is talent shows in general. We've seen it on Britain's Got Talent, and I'm sure it exists elsewhere. I genuinely hope everyone
Britain's Got Talent is a joke anyway. One year, 5 dancing star troopers came on stage, and that was enough to give them the golden buzzer to go straight through to the final. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't watched X Factor or Britain's Got Talent since at least 2013. You want to know another big example I can think of is the very stereotypical trope of people who come in who may have special needs or may look bigger, and they would pan to the audience who would look like little like children that look, haha, there's a very fat man on stage, or haha, that woman's very, very weird. And then you hear that they want to be famous and they go like stuff like that, tuts and pull faces and that. And then listen, I'm just going to say this right now because Susan Boyle, I can 100% tell you're not watching this. No, that's not. I don't think that's a shocker, to be honest. Considering Susan Boyle is on the autism spectrum, just like I am, I think it would be worth mentioning, sort of at this point, that technically autism is technically not special needs, but it is a condition. It's a neurological condition. It makes it changes as the brain develops, and I'm not going to spend the next 30 minutes to explain exactly what that does to a person's life, but you need only watch Susan Boyle's audition, because you could say that you could easily say they're playing with her personality, like they're trying to build up the character as somebody who is extremely talented but looks like a sweet old lady. And there was this two people who went on this, they were sort of like, they did opera music, and they basically, they did sort of like the sob story thing as well on them, which, it's very, very strange, ladies and gentlemen, that to think that, there are plenty of I'm going to say to you this right now. I went through secondary school being, I'll be honest, quite larger than average. But I didn't really have a sob story, and I still don't hold a grudge about it, because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? I just got on with it, and I slowly got over it. I got over what people thought of me. Now, with that being said, that doesn't mean it's the same for everyone else. But it makes you kind of wonder exactly whether or not the producers of certain shows like Britain's Got Talent and The X Factor, they want to mask that all up so they can play around with the formula, so they can have people lie about them to gain sympathy, and when you find out that they're talented, you will work into that. You'll want to actually root for them, because it's manipulating your audience through relatable things, like they're trying to turn reality into fiction. And it's a really shoddy process, don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen. The only other example I could, and bear in mind, that's one thing, and that's bad enough, don't get me wrong. But one other thing that's slightly worse, and this isn't necessarily as bad, but the attitude of the media towards Britain's Got Talent is equally disgusting. In the final of 2012's Britain's Got Talent, newspapers like The Sun, The Daily Star, and maybe possibly The Daily Express, they were taking, they would sly digs at this group, I believe were from Belgium, and they were mocking them, saying, oh, Belgium's got talent, oh, foreigners have got talent. And they were complaining about, foreign groups were coming over to Britain just so they can be in their show. If that attitude happened today, ladies and gentlemen, their company would burn to the ground. because you're slagging off other nations, which unfortunately, even to this day, as long as tabloid papers, as long as people in really high positions, they can exemplify their xenophobia, then they will 100% get away with it. Just as long as they're not involved in politics. And I remember that, ladies and gentlemen. I remember it, and I was feeling... I was absolutely sick at it. And even during the final, when that woman came on stage and threw eggs at Simon Cowell, they basically made the papers turn all of their attention to her, because probably from the backlash they got about being, xenophobic arseholes like the Express, the Daily Star, and the Sun paper usually are. And they completely didn't even want to talk about the fact that the Belgian group, or I think they were either from Belgium or Denmark, that they actually won the thing. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. They deliberately mock people just from being from another country, and then completely turn the other cheek to literally talk about something else, as opposed to the fact that this wonderful team came over, they put on something of great value, and not even draw attention to it. Really classy, ladies and gentlemen. Sometimes this country just straight up makes me sick in how it treats people. Because, you know what? If this video has taught me anything, and I think there's a lot of things it has taught me about, and I will get to Zoe Alexander's channel in a second, but I think it's blatantly obvious that I think you guys might join and agree with me saying that I don't really think you should go around treating people like that. Fuck you, X Factor. Fuck you, Britain's Got Talent. You know what, Simon Cowell? I've heard stories about, when you were impoverished and you only had about £3.25 just to make a phone call home. Well, Simon Cowell, I'm beginning to believe right now that from your experiences of being down and out, all you wanted to do is to punish those who are poor by making fun of them and exploiting their dreams just for money. Simon Cowell, you've prophesized, you have capitalized on human misery. You're not the first person to do this, Simon Cowell, and you won't be the last. The difference is, ladies and gentlemen, is that Simon Cowell has made far more money on it to even be touched. And from the second when the show gets taken down or whatever happens, I think we'll be seeing a lot more stories about it, if we haven't already. Similar to Jeremy Kyle, because I hate that show as well. But I think it's again obvious that we're going to be seeing some dark things come out. And if I have my way, I'll make Zoe's video pop off, just because people need to see that message, just so people understand exactly what happens and how some people think they have the audacity to treat others. Rant over.
Watching this sees the light about these shows and has learned that this shit is just plainly grim, and it shouldn't be happening.
Yeah. I spent all that time doing that rant and that, and Larry Bundy just basically had nothing else to say about that. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so let's see. Let's see Zoe's channel. Huh? That's actually not bad. Simon Cowell Crisis, they just keep coming up. More acts speak out. Oh my goodness. It's a 35-minute video. Wow. You know, I think, ladies and gentlemen, I think I'll do a separate video talking about this. Oh, she did a Billy Joel cover? That's cool. And 85,000 subscribers. And look, everything. You've got a friend. That's cool. She did Let It Be. And wow. 4 years ago, 132,000 viewers. Wow. Fire. An official music video. That's cool. More from the yep. And 2.9 million views. Oh my goodness. Free Britney Spears movement. I've heard a lot about that as well. But I think, ladies and gentlemen, I'll have to come back to that second. Because this is ideally exactly the sort of thing I kind of at least want to start talking about. I want to start talking about things that are a little bit more serious. I want to start talking about things that I don't particularly think are fair and safe. I want to start talking about things that, as you would probably see from Zoe, and I'll definitely get around to talking about that video itself. Because the feeling I get from this, and the feeling I absolutely am beginning to suspect, ladies and gentlemen, is that this is Zoe, and you saw from the other auditions, and that woman from before, and how she was just lying on the ground and they were exploiting that. This Zoe is not going to be the last of what Bungie hears when they hear about this. And bearing in mind, ladies and gentlemen, I've not, like I said, I haven't watched those sort of shows since I was at least 15, 14 years old. I am going to make it my life's mission to not go near their type ever again. Because, ladies and gentlemen, there are many people out there who are beginning to open their minds up and see the light. In fact, you know one video I always wanted to talk about in full detail? The video that got me to being a fan of Zoe Alexander in the first place. Popularizing and cashing in on mental health. I've always wanted to really sort of like talk about that video, but that's gonna have to wait until next time. Now, the thing I just wanted to talk about very, very quickly before this video ends is the Lisa audition. It was these two girls, I think they were about like 16 and 17, which, with what happens, it's gonna make, I'm not too certain about that. But the thing is, they go on audition, they're bubbly and that, and they're trying to be friendly, and they're just a bit, quirky, that sort of thing. And then they talk about, they're sort of like getting a bit giddy, and you wonder exactly, like, are they taking this seriously? And then the audience begins to turn on them. Abby just basically tells the audience to shut up. They walk off stage, come back on, sing. The singing is, I'll be honest, not entirely great. They get into a fight with the audience and the judges, and then Lisa basically punches Abby in the face. I'm going to level with you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm surprised the show did not get taken down for that. You're showing people assaulting each other on stage, and the security doesn't even like rush on stage to get them off. That's what makes me feel as if like this entire thing was audition. This whole thing was staged. Because I generally don't think you could show that sort of thing going about. Because you want to know why I know this, ladies and gentlemen? Because when this happened on the Jeremy Kyle show, they tried desperately to pull the footage down of one guy who was headbutted and another who basically attacked his son on stage. They tried everything to pull that away. That's what makes me feel as if like the Lisa is 100% staged and done for shock value. Well, to say I'm shocked would be an understatement. I am appalled that that sort of thing was allowed. Moreover, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to say this just before we leave. I know I've kept you here for a long time, but I promise I'll end on this note. If I had my way, I know, I would have a very serious discussion about making certain types of videos about certain shows, like, I don't know, reviewing TV and stuff like that, and specifically focus on stuff they're gonna make into like reality TV, because I'll do a series like I did with the Jeremy Kyle one, reality TV and reality, and I hope people will be able to see, because there are plenty of great channels that talk about that sort of thing, and I want my slice. Why can't I have my slice of this? Because there are certain things I want to say and a certain way I wanted to say it, so let's go for it. So, I hope all of you guys have enjoyed this reaction video to the story of Zoe Alexander. I'm going to get to talking about her in due time. Please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys thought of the video for yourselves, and I hope to see you guys again in the next video. Take care, bye-bye for now.